Merry meet and welcome back to the Witch's Cauldron. My name's Paula. Today is the second video in my Wicca Witchcraft 301 series of videos. This particular video is, as you can tell from the title, about spirit guides, your guardians, and your masters. In order to understand how psychic abilities work and how mediums and psychics are able to receive messages, you have to understand a little bit about the afterlife. They're broken down into guides, guardians, masters, angels, and elders. All right. So when a soul is incarnated into a body, it is assigned a guardian. Okay? A guardian watches over this soul through its incarnation and then is there when that soul's body dies and they pass on over into the afterlife. They're also joined by guides, okay? The person's guides. Now, your guardians are there to warn you to danger or to help you through a difficult or dangerous situation, okay? Think about those times that, you were at an intersection and something told you not to go right when that light turned green, and then, a second later, a big dump truck comes through and runs a red light the other way, okay? And if you had left when your light turned green, you probably would have, been in a very bad accident. That's your guardian stepping in and telling you and warning you to a danger that you do not see yet. And, think about, I'm going to put the picture up right, let me see, no, over here, I think it's over here. Think about that picture that we've probably all seen in our childhood of the two children going across a rickety, dangerous bridge, and you see the picture of an angel behind them. You also have guardian angels, okay? Guardians can come from this plane of existence. In other words, they can be people who have passed on, okay, and then volunteered to be a guardian. It can be ancestors. You can have ancestrals that come and guide you. Or it can be from other planes of existence, other planets, and other dimensions. They can appear to you in different forms. Some come in animal form. Some can appear in human-like or like a kind of like half-human form. Then you also have guardian angels and archangels. Now, angels have never been incarnated, okay? They have their whole hierarchy, through guardians, cherubim, seraphim, and archangels, okay? And they follow you and they protect you throughout the lifetime, okay? They often are communicators, okay? They often bring you messages. If you think about, the Bible, okay, in the Old Testament, Gabriel and Raphael were messengers from God, okay, sent down for a specific purpose, okay? Ancestral guides are just those. They are guides that have been sent to you or come to you because of a kinship, okay? And they can often serve as generational or bloodline guardians, okay, or guides, excuse me. And people often mistakenly refer to, like a grandmother that has passed away, or, a parent that has passed away as their guardian angel. But that's not it. They are either a guardian or a guide, okay? And usually they're guides. And, but they can't be an angel, because angels are, of spirit of a higher power, where, guardians and gods, masters, and even elders are actually souls that have been incarnated at some point. Now, your spirit guides, there are many different types of spirit guides, and they're assigned to your soul through the various incarnations, okay? Your guides help you learn lessons that you are supposed to learn in each lifetime that you incarnate, okay? And they guide you through choices that you have to make, okay? And as I said, guides can come in many different forms. They can come into your life for just a very brief period of time for a specific situation. You can have a guide that is concerned with health or healing if you've got an illness. There can even be guides for your spiritual self to help you navigate a spiritual path and become a more spiritual person, to help your soul evolve in the spiritual plane. But most people do not realize that guides can also be other people that you interact with, that come into your life, that end up having a major impact on your life, and have changed the way you feel about things, who have mentored you in some fashion, that have become a very important part for a specific situation or specific period of time, okay? Guides are the ones that give you the gut feeling that you need to take a particular action, okay? They're also there to guide you through the repercussions of your choices when you make bad choices, okay? When a soul leaves the physical plane and transitions, guides and guardians are there to help them transition, okay? Then on the other side, I liken this to what is called soul rehab, or a debriefing. You get debriefed by the masters, the guardians, and the guides that are assigned to you, that have come into your life. And then you go through the major events in that lifetime to learn what lesson you were supposed to learn from your set of experiences. That's why so many people who have near-death experiences all report a lot of the same themes, like a tunnel of light, people being there to guide them through the tunnel, to see, like people saying that their life flashed before their eyes, that review of things that they had done during that lifetime. They guide you back to the pool of souls, okay? You get debriefed. If you have had a particularly difficult lifetime, or you left this lifetime through your own actions, like through suicide, If you died a very violent death, you go into what's kind of like rehab, okay? Because the soul was affected on a very profound level and it needs time to heal. That is why sometimes, you know, souls come back fairly quickly, okay? And then other times people keep looking for signs from their loved ones, you know, that they're okay or that they come back to visit. And if your loved one experienced a very sudden death, a very long illness and death that was very, very painful and very, very traumatic, if they took their own life, if they overdosed, something like that, they may not come back for a little while because their soul needs to rest, okay? They need that rehab time. Now, your guides are souls that have been previously incarnated, okay? They have had physical bodies. They have walked this plane of existence. You know, they have had they have had jobs and families and homes, and you know, they had the same concerns that you have today, okay? They've been there and done that, literally, okay? Then when they passed away, they either were asked to be a guide or they volunteered to be a guide. Now, a lot of times, you know, people that you loved want to come back and be a guide for you, okay? And they will come to you through dreams and specific kind of situations and stuff. As I said earlier, guides can watch over an entire family or a bloodline, okay? Over on my paranormal channel, if you see me record videos or see videos that I'm doing like tarot readings or something like that, you often see an orb right over, you know, one of my shoulders. And I mean, usually she's like right here. That is my great Aunt Rose from the like mid 1800s. She hangs out, she watches over me. She loves it when I do this kind of stuff, when I talk about paranormal things, or I do divination through doing psychic readings or tarot readings for people. She's here with me. And so, you know, you may see an orb pop up like right over here, you know. My parents pop up usually by my television set. Oop, over here. You know, you might see my 3 orbs over by my television set, and that's usually my mom, my dad, and my sister. Okay. You also have animal guides, okay? And they are usually here as companions, okay? They get you through really tough times. They provide you with joy and company when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling really down. I know that when I was going through a particularly ugly divorce, my dogs were about the only thing that kept me going, literally. And, you know, witches have their familiars. Your familiar is usually, you know, an animal that you have bonded with on such a deep level. You know, my 3 guys that I have now are all my familiars, and I have bonded with them in such profound ways, okay? And these animals often come back after they pass away. There have been live streams that I've done with Uber Goober Lady where you could see a dog tail wagging by my patio door here. And I have an altar right over there that is has the ashes of my familiars, and like the dog tags and collars from previous familiars. And my old familiar Sydney comes and he visits, and he still comes to me. He comes to me in ritual, and he still watches over me. His ashes are part of my altar. So, don't think that, when you lose an animal that it just goes away, because if you were bonded with that animal on a very profound level while it was alive, I can almost guarantee you that it still comes back to visit you, okay? Now, there are what are called ascended masters, okay? These are the souls that have evolved up through, through guardians and gods, and then they have achieved a higher level, okay? Usually, an ascended master was a spiritual leader or a spiritual teacher during, one or more of their incarnations, and they encouraged other people to seek higher levels of enlightenment and to develop more of a spiritual connection to the universe, to the people around them, to their surroundings, and everything, okay? The focus of a master is to help humanity, okay? Masters, guides, and guardians work together in that debriefing process that I explained. And the masters decide if during an incarnation a soul was too broken, okay, to ever reincarnate. And usually this would be someone who was so profoundly evil that they will not allow them to incarnate again, okay? Think of like a serial killer. Think about Hitler. Things like that, okay? People like that. They get sequestered on the other side by the masters, the guides, the guardians, and they are not allowed to reincarnate again, okay? Those types of spirit, those broken kind of souls, are also the ones that oftentimes do not want to move on because they fear judgment and retribution on the other side, okay? And basically somebody has to send them to the other side to get them to move on. So that would be like a medium making them move on, or a Reiki master, or, having someone send that soul into the violet flame for the masters and the elders to deal with, okay? There is a council of elders above the masters, okay? And that is the level of the most highly evolved souls, okay? Their concern is humanity itself, okay? Think about, like Buddha, Krishna, or even Jesus, okay, as that type of soul, okay? They are like the gatekeepers to the Akashic records. The Akashic records are the records of all history, of every soul, everything that has ever happened, and into the future, okay? It's everything, okay? Within the elders, you also have shamans, sacred elders, that's what they're called, like in Native American spirituality, and wise women or wisdom women. Some of them call them the grandmothers. those are also part of that elder kind of realm, okay? They communicate, elders communicate with you through ceremony and ritual, okay? Often their method of communication is through storytelling, okay? And that is how they are able to teach people, that are on this plane, is through the stories that are told by the shamans, the elders, and the wise women, okay? Now that I have probably thoroughly confused you about the hierarchy, remember that there are notes down in the description box. There is a link to a Google Doc that has all of my notes on this stuff, okay? Now, a lot of people are like, well, that's all great and wonderful, but how do I connect with my guides, my guardians, and my masters, okay? Most people have interaction and connect with guides and guardians, and they don't even realize it, okay? Like I said, that little voice that told you to sit still at that stoplight and not take off when the light changed and turned green, most people would just not even attribute that to a guide or a guardian, okay? Guides, guardians, and masters often communicate with you in your dreams, okay? They communicate through your subconscious. And if you remember that the last video that I did, where I said one of the most frustrating things as you're coming in and working with your abilities is learning how to decode things. You also have to decode the way that your guides, your guardians, and your masters give you messages, okay? You have to establish that relationship with them to figure out the most effective way for them to get the message to you, so that that little light bulb comes on in your head and you go, aha, okay? You got to have your aha moment. And when I'm doing a reading, I explain that, a lot of times, like, a little movie will appear in my head, but then they'll give me something like a frame of reference, okay, that makes sense to me. Like in the last video, I told the story about the vision of my parents jitterbugging came up when I was doing a reading for a young lady. And that would have been something that would have never happened in my parents' lifetime. My mother was way too much of a proper, genteel Southern lady than to conduct herself in that manner. That's why I say that it's, kind of funny. Now, your masters do not appear to you until you have developed a pretty high sensitivity and a high relationship with your guides and guardians. And usually masters only appear to people who are healers and light workers and energy workers, like a Reiki master. Okay, I am a Reiki master, and the process that I go through for healing is that I am not the healer. I am not, a god. I am not, that type of being where I can just, make things go away. But what I do is access universal energy and use my body as a conduit to then direct healing energy for someone, okay? But the power is not my personal power, okay? It's that universal level of energy of accessing. So, and as I said, masters and sacred elders are usually only come to you through like ceremony or ritual. And for me to do a healing on someone or to conduct, a healing session on someone, I have a specific ritual that I go through. There are sacred symbols that are drawn. For me to stay balanced, I go through what's called an attunement process that is a sacred ritual to, attune my body to the universal flow and universal energy. When I pass my knowledge on to a student, there is ritual and ceremony involved in that, okay? So that's why I say, like Reiki masters, energy healers, and things like that are usually the ones that masters appear to. So you have to establish a relationship with your guides and your guardians, okay, as you go through the process of accessing and developing your psychic ability, okay? One of the hardest parts of that is learning how to quiet your mind. In other words, to learn how to meditate in a meaningful and effective way. And meditation allows you to go through this alpha state of being fully awake down to that theta level where your subconscious starts kicking in, okay? Just before you go to sleep, because delta levels are like full-blown REM deep sleep, okay? So you have to get to a level of the subconscious because your conscious mind has been conditioned to come up with logical explanations to explain away the paranormal, psychic abilities, the supernatural, the occult, okay? Although witches and Wiccans and people who have a highly ritualized spiritual path are more likely to be able to connect to their masters, okay? So keep that in mind. The first thing you have to do is set yourself up for success, okay? Set a relaxing atmosphere. If you've got kids, wait till the kids are in bed and asleep to try to do this, okay? Sequester yourself. Set the atmosphere, okay? Light a candle, turn down the lights. If you have crystals that you really bond with, get out your crystals. Have yourself, like if you've got another sacred object, get that. Sacred art that means something for you to focus and concentrate on, then get that out, okay? You may also want to, even before you try this, is to take a ritual bath, okay? And to just imagine all the tension and crud from the day draining away as the water drains out the tub, okay? Because I usually, when I do this, I will stay in the tub, sitting there as the water drains out completely, and I just imagine all of the tension and everything going down the drain with the water as the tub drains. And that is the most effective way that I have found to really let go and prepare myself to do, psychic work or energy healing or anything like that. When you're first starting out, you also have to establish the intent, just like with your magic, with your magical correspondences and everything. You have to set the intent. You have to set the intent of the session that you want to have with your guides and guardians, okay? What is it that you want to know? Who do you want to work with, okay? Do you want your guardian or do you want a guide? You need a clear and concise purpose for your session, okay? You want to say something like, you only want to work with the beings of light that'll bring you the information that you seek. You know, you don't want to let ooga boogas in, all right? Now, one of the hardest things to do is this next step, and that's be patient, because we are an instant society, okay? We are so impatient and hard on ourselves, it's not funny. So, you know, you don't have any expectations. Don't put pressure on yourself that you have to achieve stuff, okay? Just trust yourself, trust your guides, trust your guardians, and trust the process. And that is one of the hardest things to do, honestly. The next thing you want to do is begin, you know, those meditations that I do, that I say, you know, relax and focus on taking deep cleansing breaths in and out. You want to master that sacred breath, okay? The next thing you want to do is call in some protection, okay? You want to cast your circle, you want to put on your armor, and you want to imagine this big pyramid of pure white divine love and protection surrounding you, okay? You can also invoke sacred sounds. Now, this can be, you know, relaxing kind of atmospheric music with, say, Tibetan singing bowls. Or, I was going to say, I don't have mine handy. I use a Tibetan singing bowl. I have, Sing-ta, prayer symbols. And you can also chant Om. And that's Om. Okay? Chanting Om 7 times helps align your energy. It helps open your chakras. It helps align that flow of ki or chi. Then you have to open the door, okay? To do this, you have to master the ability to separate your etheric body from your physical body, okay? About 1 inch out from the body is the etheric body, okay? About 6 to 8 inches out is your aura. And then, you know, like 4 feet around is like your personal bubble, right? Where you don't like people getting up in your bubble, all right? So you focus on the etheric body and being able to open a door to another plane or another dimension, okay? It sounds scary. I will have meditations available and up on how to exercise and practice letting your etheric body go and then calling your etheric body back. Call to your guides, your guardians, and your angels. Ask that they join you. Don't tell them to join you. Ask, okay? Let them know what the intention is, what your intention is, and make it clear that they have permission to join you. Say, please come join me. You have my permission to help me through this process, okay? Open yourself to other vibrations and frequencies, okay? Now, what this can mean is, remember I said it's hard to decode the way you receive messages when you're first starting out? The vibrations and frequencies can come like by visions, that movie playing in my head that I refer to. It can just be an impression about something or a feeling about something. It can be smell, or it can be a thought that pops into your head. A lot of people want to ask for a sign because we have been conditioned to doubt everything, okay? But if you ask for a sign, pay attention to see if you get a sign, and don't try and logic a sign away, okay? Ask them for a message or a blessing, okay? When you are done, thank them. Just as you thank the divine in your rituals, you thank your guides, your guardians, and your angels for helping you. Thanking them and being humble before them is a way that you establish a deeper relationship with them, okay? It also opens the door for them to bring you more messages and bring you more blessings, okay? After that, return to your physical realm. Bring that etheric body back into your physical body, all right? Now, one thing is, I don't want you to just jump in head first to do this. Go through the meditation first. Take baby steps and not leaps, all right? If you don't bring your etheric body back, something called soul fragmentation can happen, okay? And that's when you just feel like, you know what, something is off. I don't feel right. Your little light bulb should be going on and saying, uh-oh. What you need to do is then to eat something to try and ground and center. Go out, walk in nature. Let the earth ground you and bring you back. Take a ritual bath, all right? Your etheric body will then come back, all right? I guess, you know, if we were watching Harry Potter movies, it would be like the equivalent of being splinched, where everything didn't come back the right way. So the final recommendation is that you need to make it a conscious effort to communicate with your guides, your guardians, and your angels every single day. That's why I say, you know, surround yourself with that armor, you know, connect with that higher power, connect with that being surrounded and protected by divine love, okay? You can call in your guides, your guardians, and your angels to help with that armor, okay, to put that armor on. They are the ones that are going to protect you, because once you start really developing your abilities and becoming a more powerful magical practitioner, because developing these abilities does directly affect the power of your magic, you will become a beacon for other energies that are not so nice. So your guides, your guardians, and your angels will protect you and keep your armor intact. Okay, now, with that said, got some words of caution. You know me. I always have words of caution and disclaimer for everything. And I call this, in case of emergency, break the glass. When you are working and you're trying to do a reading on an object or a person, okay, pay attention to the signs and feelings that your guides and your guardians are giving you, all right? And sometimes your masters. If you feel like the energy is off, that there's something wrong, don't try and push through it, okay? Learn to back off, because they're telling you to back off for a reason. Stop. If they give you a warning sign, stop. And I am speaking from experience here, okay? Don't try and push through to get information and leave yourself wide open, okay? I have done this. I have helped on missing children cases a few times in my life. And when there is a child missing, I push my limits. I really do. And when I'm pushing that hard, I am so focused on trying to decode or decipher what's being shown to me, I may not notice that there's something trying to attach itself to me in a bad way. All right. Your guides, your guardians, and your masters will shut you down. Okay. They will take your abilities away to save you. All right. I have in the past unknowingly connected with some very nasty spirits. And I had to, well, I was shut down. I was shut down for a month. And that was to keep, me intact and keep my abilities intact. They did it for my own good. And I was really pushing myself, trying to find information for a person and help them answer a lot of questions that they'd had. And I got shut down. I got shut down the other night. I was trying to do a reading for a friend, and their guardian didn't want to let me in, and I got shut down. My guardian said, wait a minute, we're going to shut her down, and we're not going to let her go because you have not welcomed her to find out this information. So you can get shut down that way as well. If you're trying to find out, read another person, their guides and guardians may shut you down and may not let you in. They may not let you access anything. And usually, I've had this happen a couple of times. And one, it was almost like they were wrapped in bubble wrap and you couldn't get through the bubble. And the other one was like they were, it was like I was looking through an oil slick. You know how that sheen of an oil slick is? That's what it was. That I couldn't get through that oil slick to access anything about them or to read their energy or, get any kind of impression from them. And that's because their guardian shut me down. Okay. So you have to learn the signs. Okay. I have recorded 2 meditations. One on kind of like what's called astral projection, and that is separating your etheric body from your physical body to access another plane or another dimension. And I have recorded another meditation to help you connect with your guide and your guardians. Okay. I've got book recommendations for you. If you want to delve even further into this and really get into some nitty-gritty of the exercises and doing the meditations and different meditations for accessing information, this is a process. Do not expect the floodgates to be opened all at once. It's going to be a trickle, a drop, at a time. And that's good because you have to, if you remember in the last video, I said you have to learn how to control the flow of information. If you do not control the flow, and if you do not shut down, okay, if you remain wide open, you're going to burn out physically, emotionally, and spiritually, okay? And it's ugly when that happens. So please, please take care of yourselves. There are a few books that I am going to recommend. Another one is this one, that is Psychic Shield by Caitlin Matthews. This one right here. There is William Hewitt's Psychic Development for Beginners. And Llewellyn's just came out with a couple of books that are really good and pretty concise. And the first one is Llewellyn's little book of Life Between Lives, and this is by the Newton Institute. And in my last video, I recommended the book Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. Well, Michael Newton passed away in, I want to say 2016, but the Newton Institute has carried on with his studies, his case studies on life, life in the afterlife. All right. And then there is Llewellyn's little book of Psychic Development by Melanie Barnum. This one's very, very good. They're all easy reads. They all have, easy exercises to do. But like I said, you've got to do the meditations. You've got to do the exercises, and it's work. It's not just going to come to you by just snapping your fingers. It took a lot of work for me to be able to really embrace my gift and hone it and get it to the point where I had established a very deep relationship with my guides and my guardians and my masters. I was already a Reiki master when I started this journey with psychic development. I had basically shut myself down when I was a kid because my logical mind kept being programmed that I shouldn't be able to know stuff like I did. So, it's been a process as an adult for me to really embrace my gift to the point where I can pretty confidently at least get, some pretty good impressions and pretty good information in reads on people. I will tell you that as you walk this path with developing your abilities, if you are sick, if you are injured, you are going to be very, very vulnerable, okay? It is especially important then to stay tuned out, okay? Many years ago, about 10 years ago, I fell and broke my tib fib, snapped it. And I was on a lot of painkillers because they didn't do my surgery for a week after I broke my leg. I was like literally laying there with my leg in 4 pieces for a week before it was put back together. When I was, that injured and having to take painkillers that alter your state of consciousness, do not try and do this if you are in an altered state. Don't drink, don't do drugs, don't smoke weed, don't do it. Altered states will get you into trouble, okay? When I broke my leg, my friends, Marta and my friend Alex, who is my ghost hunting partner, helped shore up my defenses, as well as my guides and my guardians shut me down, okay? After my leg got put back together, the only thing that I got back was the ability to do Reiki, to do some healing on myself. So, do not try and do this when you are physically worn out, when you have been without sleep for long periods of time, when you're just not in a good headspace. Don't try and do this then. And for heaven's sake, please do not do this if you are in an altered state because of medication or alcohol or other substances. Okay, so everything is in the description box. The links that are there are Amazon links. I do earn a small commission if you purchase something from Amazon, the book recommendations that I have. I will also link, they have some very reputable dealers on there for spiritual kind of supplies. So I will also do a link for you know, like a Tibetan singing bowls and prayer symbols and some things like that. So some other accoutrements that help the process. Okay. With that, my friends, merry we did meet, merry we will part, until we merry meet again. Be well and walk in love and light, everybody. Bye.